Hey, if you're looking for a way to have some data while you're traveling and not also break the bank or end up with some surprise roaming charges at the end of the day, well, today we're going to talk about using eSIMs. And specifically, we're going to talk about the AIralo eSIM. Now, I've actually used it in 5 different countries over the last 12 months, and I have some insights to share. Hey, welcome back. I am Joel from the Wandering Hartz, and today I'm going to be diving into the AIralo eSIMs. Now, if you're used to normal cards, you've got those traditional SIM cards here, the physical ones that you have to manually put in and out of your phone. You need a tool or something like that. Well, that can be kind of a hassle when you're doing that. Plus, also when you're trying to find them, if you travel to, say, another country like Bulgaria or Germany or something like that. Generally speaking, you're going to have to go either at an airport kiosk where you're going to get overcharged, or find a local store or something like that in the town that you're in, and then stand in line, show your passport, all that stuff in order to get a SIM card installed. Now, generally, that is going to be mostly the cheapest option available to you in most places that we've traveled, at least. But again, they're not the most convenient, especially if you're only going to be there for a week or something like that and you're short on time. So that's where eSIMs come in, and they can be super, super handy, basically eliminating the need for those physical SIM cards and standing in lines and all that kind of stuff. They're basically just electronic versions of the same physical SIM card that allows your phone to connect to whatever mobile carrier you've got. So like I mentioned before, I've been testing out a bunch of different eSIMs over the last 12 months, and with AIralo specifically, I've used it in 5 different countries so far. Now, if you are interested at the end of this review and want to try out AIralo, stick around, because later in the video, I'm going to tell you how you can get some discount codes that can also save you some money. Because first up, this video is not sponsored by AIralo, but I am an affiliate with them, and I've spent my own money on all of the eSIMs that I've been testing. So that way I can do kind of an honest review for you guys. Now, another thing you should note is that in order to use an eSIM, your phone is going to have to be unlocked from your mobile carrier, as well as compatible. Now, as far as compatibility is concerned, the good news is that most modern cell phones, like the last 5 or 6 years, are all compatible. So including like iPhone, I think it's the XS and newer, the Samsung Galaxy series, as well as even like some of the Google Pixel phones. If you're curious about whether your phone is compatible, don't worry about that, because on AIralo's website, they will have a list to show you. Now, of course, a quick question is why do you need an eSIM while traveling? Couldn't you just use something like a Wi-Fi, or maybe even just use your mobile phone carrier? Maybe your plan already has some international data included. And if that's the case, then go ahead and use your international data plan. Oftentimes, though, those can be a lot more expensive to have a higher plan like that. Another option, of course, is using just Wi-Fi and trying to connect everywhere you go, which can be problematic, of course, especially if you're not anywhere near a Wi-Fi signal and you're trying to navigate or get a ride share or something like that. And then thirdly, the other option that you generally have with your phone service back home is doing what they call like an international like day pass. And often these are going to be like anywhere from $10 to $12 per day for data. So as you can imagine, that can get quite expensive, especially when you consider that a lot of the eSIM packages, even specifically with AIralo, for $10 or $12, you can get a couple gigs of data that you can use over like 30 days or more. So now let's talk about my personal experience with AIralo. Like I said before, we've used it in several countries, including the US, the Netherlands, Greece, Thailand as well, just to name a few. Everywhere we went, we had really good data connection. As soon as I just turned it on in my phone, it worked, which was great, connected, and we had I didn't have no connectivity issues. I had good speeds as well, which is really good too, right? That's the important thing. For instance, like when we were in Corfu, Greece, it was really easy for me just to try to find this cafe that we found like the last time we were there. So I was able to just use the eSIM, our AIralo eSIM, to actually use our Google Maps and navigate to the place. Without having to worry about like connecting to a Wi-Fi anywhere. Also, it's good for I also use it a lot for like checking emails and things like that, or even just sending pictures and things like that back home to my family. Let's jump in and talk to you a little bit about some of AIralo's top features. Again, they have an app that you can use, which is really easy to use. It's easy to download. You can sign in And then once you're signed in, you connect the payment method, and then you can just go ahead and start purchasing an eSIM and install it and everything. It's all very easy. It basically gives you a QR code that you can then use to install, or you can even do manual installation, and they'll give you instructions on how to do that as well, both through I think through email as well as in the app itself. So for instance, like here's like one of my USA ones, and you can open up the details and it'll just give you kind of all the instructions on how to view your eSIM. So mine's already installed, but it gives you options like using a QR code or even manual instructions too, which is very cool. Now, again, when you're ready to activate it, the nice thing is you can purchase them ahead of time and then have it installed as well, but you don't have to worry about activating it until you just get somewhere. So with like my SIM manager, AIralo, you just simply turn on the eSIM that you want to connect, and it will turn on. Another thing to note is that they have customer service in the web app itself, and they have this thing called AirCoins, which is kind of like their loyalty program, if you're interested in that sort of thing. And like I said before, you can easily top up on them, which makes it super convenient. You can just simply hit the little top up button here, and then it will open up, basically give you all of these package options, and you can just select whichever package that you want. And as long as you've got a payment method connected, it's really quick. Otherwise, you got to go and enter all your payment information. Now let's go ahead and go to the website, and we'll kind of go over some more of the features that AIralo has. Starting with the fact that you can see there are local SIMs, regional SIMs, as well as global SIMs that they offer, which is pretty cool. And with that, there are eSIMs for over 200 countries here. Again, that's pretty awesome. And like I said before, we used them in multiple countries without any problems. Another thing that you can see when we go in, let's look at Thailand, for instance. You can see here that they have plan lengths that are anywhere from 7 days all the way up to 30 days. And they start at right around 1 gig. And in this case, they go up to 50 gigs. Now, most countries, it's maybe up to 20 gigs, but it's going to vary a little bit depending on each country. As you can see too, though, affordability-wise, it's actually pretty decent. It looks here, let's look at this one. Like for 15 days, you get 2 gigs. It's $5, which isn't too bad. For 30 days, you got $6 for 30 gigs. All the way up to like $12 for 10 gigs. So again, we talked about whether you're doing a day pass. Well, for the price of a day pass, $12, you can actually get 10 gigs of data, which is pretty nice. And that's you have the whole month to use that, and not just 1 day to use that. All right. Okay. Okay, so another thing here is that the majority of their plans, of course, are going to be data only. But as you can see, they've got lots of options regionally. You got every basically region on the earth that you can do, as well as like I said before, those global SIMs too, which work in 138 countries. Those are going to be a little bit more expensive, but something like this could work too, like a 1 gig for 7 days global for $9. If you're doing some quick travel or whatever, and you're hitting multiple countries that aren't in the same region, then that could be a good option for you. All right. So as you can see, when you come up into here, it'll show you all the different countries that are supported with each eSIM when you go into the regional or the global ones. So you got lots of options there. And then up here, you can see that in the global package, they actually do have options for where you get data plus calls and texts as well. And those are a little bit more expensive, but that's a unique feature that AIralo has where some of the other eSIMs that we've been using don't have. Another thing to note is that all of these are hotspot compatible too. So if we open that up, you can see here that we've got, it gives you like a little bit more information about everything. It shows you supported countries. It'll show you additional information so you can see kind of what networks that you're going to be using in each of the countries. So these are all the ones that they connect with. There's lots of options on this global plan. It tells you about what the plan is, and it explains, of course, like when the plan starts. And generally speaking here is whenever it connects to one of those mobile networks that are outside. Now, if you do install outside of your coverage area, it will connect. Once it connects to that network, you turn it on and it connects to that network, and that's when it'll activate. That's when your 30 days or whatever will start. All right. Okay. Now, of course, also I promised discount codes. So all you have to do is scan the QR code on the screen here, and that will take you to my full review of AIralo, where I kind of go over all of the same information. And that's where also I keep the latest discount codes updated, because they do change them over time, and you might be watching this like a year or 2 years after I made the video. So be sure to check back on the article for the latest updates on codes and everything like that, especially if you're watching this video for the first time. So now let's talk about some of the pros and cons of AIralo, and I'm going to go through this as quick as I can. Obviously, the first thing is it's instant activation, which is really great. Again, no need for physical SIM cards, which is cool. You got 4G and 5G connectivity in all the major telecoms that they connect to worldwide. High data speeds, and this is something that I've experienced as well. Again, like I said, you can use it as a mobile hotspot, which is great. So if you need to share your data connection with someone else that you're traveling with, you can do that. Or if you need to use it to connect, like if you need data on your laptop and you're not near Wi-Fi, you can actually connect through you can set up a hotspot and connect to that and have data. Another pro is there are over 200 countries that are supported, and that includes those regional and global plans that we showed you. And the top-ups are available too, which is really cool. Which basically means you don't have to reinstall the whole data pack again. If you say you have an Albania pack and you want to top it up, you can just simply do that in-app, as I showed you, without having to worry about reinstalling everything. Another pro is that you can see some of those plans even have texting, calling minutes as well included. And then also another good pro is the fact that the plans start at 7 days minimum, which is good, really good for like if you're transitioning from one country to the next, or if you're just going on a short trip. Another pro is that it's widely compatible with a lot of the smartphones, as we discussed earlier. Also, the app has an in-chat function for customer service. Now, I can't speak to the quality of that because I haven't actually had to use the customer service. So maybe the fact that I haven't had to use it is something that is a good takeaway there. So now let's talk about some of the cons. The first one is, of course, that almost all of the plans are data only. They do have a few text and calling plans. We showed you like that one global one. If you want to call home or whatever, you're going to have to use like a web-based app, something like Facebook Messenger or WhatsApp or Signal or something like that. In fact, I have a whole video if you're wanting to know how to stay connected while you're abroad that you can check out on the channel that goes through everything. Another con is the fact that they're still not going to be as affordable as most local SIM cards that you can get when you're outside of the United States, where sometimes you can get those for like $5, $10 or whatever, and it might come with a lot more data available. But again, if you're only going to be in the country for a short time, then, that's not a real big deal. Also, the plans have a maximum term of 30 days. And that's something that I wish they had some longer ones, especially for people like us who are going to be traveling for longer periods of time. Also, they don't have any subscription options or any kind of lifetime data plans where you can just purchase the data one time, let's say like 5 gigs, and then just use it whenever you're in that country or region by just turning it on and off, and so it doesn't expire. So another con is the fact that they have a fair use policy, which essentially throttles your speeds that you have after you hit a certain limit. And unfortunately, AIralo does not disclose what that limit is. And the final con is that you cannot move or reinstall your SIM either on your own device or another device. So if you wanted to, you have some data left and you wanted to like share it with somebody else, with their plans, the way they're set up, you can't do that. So thanks for making it this far in the video. Not a lot of people actually make it this far in the video, which is kind of weird. But also don't forget to take advantage of those coupon codes, those discounts that I talked about, especially if you're going to do an AIralo purchase. Every little bit helps, you know, so if you can save a couple bucks, then obviously that's more vacation money or whatever. To stay connected or receive more travel tips like this, be sure to subscribe to the YouTube channel. I'll be sharing more insights about eSIMs, travel apps, and of course the latest tech gadgets, or travel gadgets rather, that will simplify your journeys. Also, check back regularly at wanderinghartz.com, which is our main website, for additional tools and resources, basically kind of like your go-to source for things that are slow travel related. So overall, I really do like AIralo. It's very cost-effective, it's seamless, and it works really well. I think it's a good solution, especially if you're going on a vacation, whether that be long or short. Again, like we talked about, remote workers, maybe you're doing like a year-long retirement slow travel trip, or you're full-time travelers like us. So I think it's really good for a lot of people who are looking for reliable data when they're traveling. Overall, I would give AIralo a 4 out of 5 stars, mainly losing 1 star due to the cost, the fact that some of the data packages are a little smaller than I prefer, or I should say the smaller data packages don't have a very long duration. Like it'd be nice if they had a 1 gig plan that was 30 days. And that way you can use it for a little bit longer, especially if you're someone who doesn't use a lot of data. Also, the fact that they lack a lifetime data package as well is another reason that I would deduct a star. Overall, I do recommend it. Like I said, I've had really good experiences, and everywhere I've used it, I'm probably being just a little bit nitpicky here. But again, that's because I've been testing out quite a few different eSIMs. And they all have their strengths and weaknesses. And of course, this is based on how I use it, which is as a full-time traveler. Of course, be sure to check out the links in the description, or you can scan that QR code that was on the screen as well to get your own AIralo eSIM. Be sure to like and subscribe to keep up with more travel tech and tools. I'll be breaking down more things like eSIMs, as well as other apps and tech that we use to make our full-time travel journey run nice and smooth, which means it'll make yours just as smooth too. Thanks so much. Happy wandering.